Good morning from the Talladega Superspeedway. Beautiful weather, 72 degrees, a little bit of wind out of the southwest. No clouds in the sky here in Alabama. It's time for NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying. 8th race of this season, the first car on the racetrack, that's Trevor Bayne in the 99 car for Diamond Waltrip Racing. 48 teams will take time here on this 2.66 mile super speedway. Bayne, 19 years old, out of Knoxville, Tennessee. And again, Bayne, the first of 48 drivers taking time on the high banks. Following Trevor Bayne, we'll see Kenny Wallace, Tony Raines, Paul Menard, and Joe Nemechek. Now, Nemechek holds just about every driver record there is here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Down through the tri-oval, Bayne makes his way to the start-finish line. First lap, 178.687 miles per hour, 53.591 seconds. '22 Nationwide Series races for Bayne. Has finished 30th or worse in 3 of his 7 races this season, but 16th in points, moved up a position after Monday's race in Texas. Best finish in the Nationwide Series 6th at Las Vegas in February. And Bayne across the start-finish line. And good morning, everybody. Glad you're with us. Steve Burns, Hermie Sadler, the birthday boy, well, tomorrow actually, yeah. And Jeff Hammond. Jeff and I have quit having birthdays, but
that's exactly right.
Jeff, we know you can win from anywhere in the field here at Talladega Superspeedway because of this racetrack, but that is not to say that qualifying isn't important.
Steve, the thing is right now, this is a test in applied science. All these teams have been working, the last few weeks getting ready for Talladega. They've been polishing on these cars. They've been working on the engines. They've been working on the chassis. They've been working on the drivetrain. They've been trying to get these things as perfect as possible to be able to make that one lap that says we have done the best job back at the shop. Because when you get here, pretty much what you have is what you've got. So the guys themselves have done the best job they possibly can. Now guess what? It's all up to the driver.
And for the driver, Steve, this is a place where in qualifying, the driver probably cannot make the car go faster, but a driver can make the car go slower. You got to go through the gears exactly right, not over rev the engine, keep it in the right RPM band, but also you tug that wheel just a little bit too much in the middle of these corners, you can slow the car down a little bit. So the driver is a person that, is very important element as far as qualifying here too.
Now, Hermie, 20 years ago, Bobby Labonte looked at me and he said, "It's so easy here, you could do it."
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Hey, precision, guys. The words you're looking for, you got to be precise, and that driver has got to be up on his game. That's for sure. Talking about up on your game, here comes the game, Kenny Wallace.
Kenny has a long history here. 12 Nationwide Series starts for the shy one at Talladega.
He's had some pretty good runs in the Nationwide Series here, but he's always going to be remembered for the guy who pushed or helped to make that memorable run that Dale Earnhardt did in one of his final wins here at Talladega, coming from, I don't know, from where in the back to win
17th to first.
Yeah, it was incredible right there. And Kenny was along for the ride, helping him all the way.
You can see fans, once Kenny Wallace crosses the start-finish line to get the white flag, now, Steve, he's right at the bottom of the racetrack. The first lap, a lot of these drivers, use the top side of the racetrack to wind the cars up, to get these RPMs wound up. Lap number 2, you go right around the bottom of the racetrack, the shortest way around.
Also joining us here this morning, the good Dr. Dick Berggren.
Well, thank you. Mark Martin is the guy who gets the credit for identifying Joey Logano as the next superstar. Asked who he thought the next one was going to be after Logano, he said, and I quote, "The kid in the 99, he's awful. He's a fine young man and an incredibly great driver." How about that?
That's pretty cool, man. Except I hope he didn't say awful, right?
Awful good.
Awful good. Okay, okay. No, Mark Martin's a great guy. I got the opportunity to work with him at DEI a little bit and talked to him since then a couple times. But, you know, that's really cool for him to say that, and that means a lot. So now we just got to live up to it. Hopefully we can keep this dream machine up front here in the next couple days. If we get it in, heard we got some tornado watches or something coming. So we'll just dodge those and we'll be all right.
All right, thank you.
Well, beautiful weather today, Dick Berggren. There is inclement weather in the area for tomorrow. Nationwide Series qualifying continues after this. Joey Logano goes out shortly. Meanwhile, Tony Raines on the track, the third of 48 drivers. Kenny Wallace is the quickest. You know, Hermie, you talked about a driver. Really, his or her goal is not to scrub off speed. Right. So where can you get yourself in trouble? Where on this racetrack can you lose speed if you're not careful?
Well, you know, in the middle of the corner, very important to hold the wheel steady, but keep it on the bottom, but not turn the wheel too much to keep it. You can miss your line a little bit getting these corners. Believe it or not, they have to tug that wheel a little bit more and scrub that speed. And the other thing is coming off the corners, not using a lot of racetrack and finding that combination of keeping the wheel straight but not letting the car get off the bottom of the racetrack to travel extra distance unnecessarily on lap 2.
Also joining us this morning is Wendy Venturini.
And I'm with Brian Scott this morning, our rookie leader in the Nationwide Series. Brian, what do you want to get out of your race car in this qualifying session?
Well, we got pretty pleasantly surprised when we unloaded here at Talladega with our AccuDock Solutions Toyota. We have a really fast car by itself. I'm not sure how it's going to stack up. I think we can get a nice top 4 starting spot, get good pit selection, start the race well, hopefully stay in front of whatever wreck or whatever might happen. And that's all you can really hope for here at Talladega qualifying. And I think we might even have a shot at it. We're going to see.
All right, good luck to Brian Scott. He has experience here at Talladega in the Truck Series where he had a top 10 finish. Steve?
Wendy, I read that Brian Scott spent time this week because of a short week. They raced on Monday afternoon, late Monday. He spent some time at the shop running errands, said he did whatever he could just to help out.
He's done a lot, you know, really runs up front a lot. We saw him early this year at California in this Nationwide Series, had some really good runs, and I think he's been a pleasant surprise as far as how he's been able to run on the racetrack. He just got to take those good cars and turn them into good finishes, Jeff.
Yeah, I think he's one of the superstars of the future when it comes to the Nationwide Series. He showed that when he was driving in the Camping World Truck Series a year ago. Every now and then you see him go back and still run some races there. A lot of talent. I think he's a great individual as far as working with the sponsors are concerned. I think he's got a great future. I really do.
And how about the run Paul Menard was having last Monday in Texas in the Sprint Cup Series race? He got involved in that accident towards the end, but really been impressive this year.
He's been solid. I mean, and both the Nationwide Series as well as the Sprint Cup Series. I don't know what has happened to Paul Menard this season, but it has definitely come together. I don't know if it was putting him up with Slugger Labby as far as in the Cup Series and kind of like getting him settled down and focused in on. But Paul Menard is starting to really show some great talent. We've always kind of suspected he had some there, but it was always like it was just waiting. But this year, he's making it happen in both series.
I tell you, a very good first lap too, Steve. Fastest first lap we've seen.
Hermie Menard has 3 starts here at Talladega. Best finish of 9th.
Had a decent finish last week at Texas. Wound up being 10th, and he's currently 6th in the points so far this season in the Nationwide Series. So better not underestimate this guy. This guy could wind up being a sleeper, the challenge for the championship before it's all said and done.
Jeff got one of his 2 NASCAR Nationwide Series poles here. Paul Menard did back in 2005.
And he's going to set a bar, a good lap here today. I mean, he is already looking at 6-7 tenths faster than the field, and he had a really fast first lap as well. So he's moved that into a good run here on lap 2 as well.
So Menard completes his second lap, 51.845. 184.70, 4 miles per hour. And as Hermes says, Paul Menard is now the man to beat. Stay with us here in Talladega. The 1992 NASCAR Nationwide Series champion Joe Nemechek has 18 Nationwide Series poles, and Hermie, 5 of them have come here at Talladega.
I tell you what, he has for a long time been the guy to watch out for, especially in qualifying. Joe is really good, you know, fabricating, and really good with engine tuning and those kind of things. He's always worked really hard to bring fast cars to Talladega and Daytona.
Jeff, he leads a lot of categories here in terms of drivers, and top 5 finishes, top 10s, lead lap finishes, laps led. Joe's at the top of the record book.
And, you know, the funny thing about it is, and again, it wasn't all Joe. If you remember back when he was really in his heyday and making it happen around here, guess who was leading at number 87 car? A guy named Brian Patty.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Brian Patty is a master of detail, and I think that they really made a great combination for a long period of time. Take a look right there, Joe Nemechek, second quickest after completing his second lap.
Let's go to Wendy.
Well, Brad Keselowski has 2 poles this season in the Nationwide Series. How is your car? Can you do it again?
Well, I mean, the 33 and the 21 look to be really, really fast. So I think we can end up somewhere in the top 10, and you know, really starting spot's not that important here. So it doesn't really bother us either way. But we know our discount tire Dodge is going to be fast in the race, and we just got to make the right moves. It's a big weekend for us. We need to get all the points we can get running for the championship, and it's also a big weekend for discount tire. This is their 50th anniversary week, so we want to get them in victory lane.
All right, good luck. And it was a big week for Brad Keselowski as he made that announcement for his Cup plans next year. Dick?
Well, Paul Menard had a terrific run, but at the end of the run, you said the vibration is better. What's going on with the vibration?
That's really the main thing we fought yesterday. The car's got really good speed in it. Really happy with the pickup that we just had, but we just been fighting a vibration all practice yesterday. Made some changes to try to help it. It made it worse, so kind of reset everything, and the vibrations, it's a lot better than it was yesterday. I can actually see today, so we can live with that. But the guys did a hell of a job doing all the changes that we needed to get a good pickup. We picked up 4/10 from yesterday, and you know, hopefully it'll be a good spot.
Imagine driving around Talladega with a vibration so bad you can't see. Wow.
Dick, Paul Menard, the only driver under 52 seconds as we watch young Brian Scott. And Wendy she alluded to Brad Keselowski's plans for next year. It was announced that Shell Pennzoil is leaving Richard Childress Racing at season's end and going over to Penske. Kurt Busch, we expect to be in that Shell Pennzoil car while Brad Keselowski gets in the famous Blue Deuce.
I think it's a great opportunity all the way around. I mean, I know that folks at Penske got to be excited about Pennzoil coming over. I think that was a big surprise. I thought really that Mobil Oil was kind of like the Penske organizations, you know, bread and butter. Sorry to see them maybe look like they're going to be doing something different. But for Brad Keselowski, you talk about a dream come true. I mean, you not only get an opportunity to go drive for Roger Penske, you know, this year, now all of a sudden you know what's going on next year, and you're moving into, I mean, I think a big set of shoes to fill, not only following Kurt Busch, but the legendary Rusty Wallace, the people who drove for Miller. So great opportunity for this young man. And if they're looking for somebody who's got a little bit of edge to go along with that product that they sell, I think they got the right one.
Yeah, and it's a great, I think it's fitting up perfect because Brad Keselowski can kind of go in that car. You know, it's a good car with a lot of history. And Kurt Busch can go to the 22. He's already won a championship, you know, as well. But he can start kind of forming his own legacy with his own number. And, you know, sometimes when you've driven a car that was driven to championships popular, you know, you kind of get lost in the shuffle there a little bit. But I think Kurt Busch will do very well in that 22 car.
Brian Scott, P2 for the time being behind Paul Menard. It's a good effort by the 22-year-old out of Idaho.
He pretty much called his shot, didn't he?
Hey, and you're talking about a vibration, you know, with Paul Menard. That can be a difficult thing to pick up on here at a place like Talladega, Jeff.
It is. It's trying to figure it out. And we see the Wallace clan right there getting together. Stephen on the right and Uncle Mike right there on the left conversing. And Mike is one of the better super speedway races there is. So if Stephen's trying to get some understanding of what needs to be done here, he's talking to the right guy. But going back to that vibration, I mean, that could be a lot of different things. We try so hard, Steve, to get the drivetrain, the transmission, everything to where it doesn't rob power out of these engines. And when you do that from time to time, if you ever get the angle of the pinion angle and the transmission too much in a straight line, it will wind up vibrating. And that could be part of it. All that stuff kind of comes into play. So playing around with the engine angle, pinion angles, all that kind of comes into play here when you're trying to not only make speed, but also keep the car where it's predictable and drivable.
Well, you just saw the graphic in the lower left of your screen of Joey Logano. Can pick up the pole here. It'll be his 4th of 2010.
You can see him right up at the top of the racetrack, up against the wall, coming off turn 2 on lap 1, using every inch of racetrack. Again, with these engines, with restrictor plate, it's very important for lap number 1 to use all the real estate on the racetrack, make it as long as you can to get that engine wound up.
Herman, you and I were talking before we came on the air. You had an interesting opportunity and one you said that helped to educate you when it comes to running here at Talladega. You work with Robert Yates and Yates Racing, Doug Yates, and they've been known for many, many years of being able to make a lot of power here, have a lot of success and attention to detail, again, not only on the race car, but in a test, but what they were able to give you as far as what you need to do each time you go out on the racetrack.
Yeah, several years ago when my brother was actually driving for Robert Yates Racing, I came down and drove for a 2-day test strictly on restrictor plate stuff, and they, you know, I learned a lot about, number 1, aerodynamics and all the things they were doing to try to get speed, but they put a little digital tack right on top of the steering wheel and the steering column for me to look at, and not like a rotary tack like you see inside the car. They wanted me to know that every time I turned the wheel, how much I turned the wheel and how much to the thousandths that I was robbing that car of RPMs. And so I learned a lot about what they were looking for, but also a lot about, you know, the driver. Like I say, I couldn't make the car go faster, but if I bobbled a little bit or tugged that wheel a little bit too much, it costs a lot of speed, and it's hard to test and learn stuff if the driver's not completely consistent run after run.
Take a look here at Joey Logano in the 20 car, trying to complete his 2nd lap, and he'll jump up to 2nd quickest with that lap right there at a 51.98.
Coming up, we'll see Scott Wimmer in the 27 car, Brad Keselowski, James Buescher. Tonight on Speed, NASCAR Trackside is in Talladega. Everyone is fired up to be here. Clint Boyer stops by the ultimate Friday night house party. Don't miss NASCAR Trackside from Talladega tonight at 7:30 Eastern.
Trackside, trackside, trackside.
I think Larry Mack will be bragging about Crimson Tide.
Don't. You had to go there, didn't you?
Well,
you wouldn't leave it alone.
I'm preparing.
Are you really? I got a surprise for Larry Mack when he gets there.
You do?
Yes, I do. I have a surprise for him. Talk about surprises. Look here. Scott Wimmer driving the 27 car this week instead of Greg Biffle. He'll be back next week at Richmond, but this week it's up to Scott to see if he can get something done here in this Red Man Special. Wendy, what's going on pit road?
Oh, well, you know, the drivers are getting ready to qualify, and young 26-year-old Steve Arpin is a big weekend for you, Steve, your first race in the Nationwide Series. It's been a busy 2 weeks signing with Junior Motorsports, leading the ARCA points. How do you feel right now?
This is just absolutely incredible. You know, I don't think my feet have touched the ground in the last 2 weeks, so we're going out to make our first qualifying run with Junior Motorsports right now. We had an awesome car yesterday. I learned a lot. It was absolutely incredible. Man, it's just beautiful out here today. We couldn't ask for a better day to go racing. Hopefully the sun stays tomorrow and we'll be in good shape.
All right, and Steve's going to try and make it 3 wins in a row later today in the ARCA race, 4 p.m. local time on Speed. Dick?
Joey Logano has Talladega as his best racetrack. Last year he finished 3rd in the Nationwide race, finished 3rd in one of the 2 Cup races, and 2nd place in an ARCA race the year before that. So how have you caught on to this place?
I didn't even know that, so that's news.
That's why you got to listen to Speed.
Yeah, really here it's all about a good car, I think, especially here for qualifying. It's kind of tough here right now for the GameStop Toyota. The Toyotas seem like they're kind of down. We still got the small restrictor plate on them compared to the rest of the field, so it shows up here in qualifying. I think our cars are a lot better, but it just makes it tough for all the Toyota guys that they work real hard and they kind of restrain us a little bit. But you know, kind of is what it is. But I was happy in practice yesterday. You know, I was able to suck up and push cars a lot better than I usually can in the Nationwide cars. So that's pretty cool. And I got an awesome paint scheme on this thing. I got the Skate 3, and I think it looks pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to when we do get the race. Hopefully it's tomorrow if the rain holds off.
Indeed. Steve?
Thank you very much, Dick Berggren. Brad Keselowski having a fine season in that 22 Discount Tire Dodge. I want to mention, too, Scott Wimmer, 4th overall. Keselowski, the 9th driver to qualify. 6 top 5 finishes this year, which ties him with Kevin Harvick for the most.
Yeah, and the funny thing about it is after last week's win by Kyle Busch, he unseated Brad, who was leading the points at Texas. He now kicks him back to 2nd as far as the points concerned. But, I mean, even though we finished 4th, I mean, that's how close and how tight the points still are as far as the nationwide series are concerned. But this team right here, again, I'm going to say it, this discount tire team, Roger Penske, they've surprised me. I didn't think they were going to be this strong this early in the season. I really didn't, because, you know, they kind of put this thing together at the last minute. I know they had Justin Allgaier there, but anytime you try to add a team, you always think it may take away from the other operation. But I think in this case, both of these organizations, the 12 and the 22, have helped one another. And Roger Penske's really got 2 cars that are very capable of winning this championship.
He's down below he got all the way down on the apron, Jeff, coming down to get the checkered flag here. He got way below the yellow line, which you cannot do once the race starts, but he got way down to make the track a little bit shorter.
Talladega hasn't been a great track for Keselowski, but he has 29 top 10 finishes in his last 32 races. '20-year-old James Buescher, the 1 car for Phoenix Racing. 8th overall on his first lap.
The Phoenix Racing's had some success at the Speedway tracks over the years as well.
Yes, they've had some very fast race cars, and right now this young man is, even though he's a rookie, 2nd in rookie points, they're having a pretty decent season so far.
Buescher had 2 wins in just 4 ARCA starts last year. He is 19th in NASCAR Nationwide Series points, moved up 2 spots after Texas. And let's see if he's going to move up on this 2nd lap. He does, all the way up to 2nd. 51.962, 184.289 miles per hour for James Buescher. Tonight, Speed brings you the story of Bill France Jr. After Little Bill took the reins from his father, he was able to expand NASCAR, turning it into a national phenomenon. Don't miss the NASCAR Hall of Fame biography of Bill France Jr. tonight at 8:30 Eastern, only on Speed. I watched the first one of the Hall of Fame profiles on Bill France Sr. It was interesting to watch.
It's quite a character, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. They had some great old footage of, so we watch Eric McClure qualifying, of Bill France Sr. and Ken Squire driving down the old beach course. It was neat.
Pretty special. Pretty special.
I got to see the Hall of Fame for the first time Monday night, you know, filming that first look show that we did right here on Speed. And you know, you hear bits and pieces about what's going on, but until you go see it, it's an awesome place. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. I can't wait till they get the thing up for everybody else to be able to see what we know is going in there. And real quick, we watch Eric McClure make his 2nd qualifying attempt. I want to give a quick shout out to the Hefty brand is on the sponsorship of this car. They've been around for a while now. This is their 100th primary start for this weekend, and been a great sponsor for Eric McClure the last few years. Just glad to have him around. And Wendy, you still down there on pit road?
I sure am. We're working at Jeff Hammond now.
All right.
Michael Annett won here at Talladega in the ARCA race in 2007. Michael, how was your car in the draft, do you think, of the Nationwide Series?
It's pretty good. It's given me a lot of those feelings we had when back here in 07. It definitely liked to be pushed. We got a good push coming off 2 yesterday, and it was one of those deals where we could feel it, and you knew you were going to be on top of the board, and sure enough came around to the line, and they said we were on top of the board with it. So that's what you look for here. There's not much you can do without that help behind you, but when we got it yesterday, it definitely brought the car to the front.
All right, good luck to Michael Annett. Let's head over to Dick.
James Buescher is going to be running not only the nationwide race tomorrow, but also the ARCA race later today. How much is that going to help you?
I think it'll help a little bit. Just give us more laps on the track and more laps drafting. I don't have a whole lot of experience drafting, but I have run quite a few races at the Superspeedways the last couple years. But these Phoenix Racing guys got this #1 car going pretty good. Sitting P2 right now. It was hard to tell where we were at in practice yesterday because you have everybody doing drafting runs and qualifying runs and everything like that, and it's hard to tell where everybody was at on their qualifying speed. But I think this should hold up for a pretty decent start to spot, and stay up front, stay out of the wrecks in the race, and be there at the end.
That's a good strategy. Thank you. Yes, stay out of the wrecks.
Nick Brendan Gaughan comes to Talladega 10th in points.
We were down in Texas, you know, on Sunday night when the rainout came. Brendan called me and said, hey, you want to come over to my mother's ranch and have some dinner? So I drove down to their place in Brock, Texas, and we had some Mexican food. It was really, really good. I had a Mexican shrimp cocktail. Never had one before. It was really, really tasty.
And what makes it?
Well, I think it's warm. They cook it, you know, a little bit in the tomato type juice and
that's called marinara sauce.
Well, Italian, whatever you want to call it, type stuff. But still, it's totally different. And I just never experienced it like that. It was really, really good. And I spoke to him this morning about here at Talladega. Told him thank you for last week, number one. But he was telling me about this racetrack and this new configuration. We haven't really touched about this. You know, the Nationwide Series runs a gurney lip and a wicker on top of the roof. But this time, you know, a lot like the Sprint Cup cars, they've added a taller shark fin down the rear window. And that's created a little bit of a challenge for the guys because they didn't get a chance to go to the wind tunnel to find out what the effect would be. And Brendan was telling me out there drafting now, you can appreciate this, driver, when you kind of would want to do a little side draft and close up on a guy and then kind of use that air to push your car in front of him. With this new wicker, I mean, the new shark fin, that's really put more drag on your car than you expected. It's really going to challenge, I think, a lot of these race car drivers tomorrow in that race because of it. There you go. Take a look at it. See how tall it is? It's 3.5 inches tall and runs down entire rear back glass and up on the deck lid, a lot like the Cup cars. But this has really definitely put a lot more side drag to the car, especially in y'all. You see the gurney lip that sticks forward, which is 1 inch right in this area right here. Right in there.
Another thing that shark fin will help do, Jeff, when a car starts to spin around, that shark fin actually helps slow that car down a little bit. Part of the, you know, the thought process with that is slow the car down when it's spinning, so hopefully try to keep it from getting up in the air so quick.
Yeah, and if it does get all the way around, also help kind of keep it as far as taking off quite as it. This here is at the wicker lip or up on top of the roof that these guys have been using for, I think, for about 7 years. And this is hopefully the last time we'll see this package, because when we get to Daytona, we'll have new cars, new Superspeedway cars, and a lot of the drivers have been talking about this along with the crew chief. Said all of the 43 cars that start the race this weekend, well, they'll be obsolete after this week.
And what that lip does is actually make the car like a truck. It helps it cut a bigger hole in the air, and it really helps these cars drafting and pulling up in the draft. It's actually, I know we're changing with the times and we need to, but this package with the Nationwide cars has provided some great racing at Daytona and Talladega over the years.
Well, Jeff Hammond's best friend, Brendan Gaughan, qualified in the 8th position. So was the shrimp actually cooked in salsa or served with salsa?
Both. It was cooked there. When he came out of there, it was all warm. I didn't sit there and watch the lady cook it. I just know it was delicious. You should have been there.
Well, we weren't invited, were we?
Well, you wouldn't go out with me anyway.
Not.
You thought it might look like it was too
kind of like some preferential treatment.
Right.
Let me ask you one.
Long day at the racetrack, boys. I'm tired.
Sound like Brendan Gaughan, yeah. He gets a little excited every now and then. But I got a question for you here as we watch Jason Leffler on the racetrack. Jason Leffler said that, you know, restrictor plate racing forces you to be pretty aggressive. You agree with that, Herbie? Because, I mean, other drivers say when you come here, you have to be patient.
Yeah.
And so when you were racing here, what kind of philosophy did you kind of like bring to the racetrack? I mean,
I always felt like, just like every week, you had to win the race, you had to be there at the end.
Right.
And I've seen it happen both ways. Obviously, Dale Earnhardt never started in the race and went to the back of the pack and rode around, and he won a lot of races. I've also seen Dale Jarrett ride around in a race I was in the back all day long here at Talladega with 15 laps to go. He goes to the front and wins. So I think it's more of a, you know, and we've seen Jimmy Johnson the last couple of years, you know, go to the
treatment.
Yeah,
prefer whether you want a preferred choice type deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's each driver and crew chief have their own thought process on what's the best method to try to win here. The bottom line is you need to be in the right place at the right time and not in the wrong place at the wrong time.
As we watch Jason Leffler.
He's making it happen right now.
Yes,
Bronc car, he's really, guys, look at your pointer right here. Getting through 3 and 4. I mean, he is really right on that deal. He's got it working. Just keep it pulling.
Just hold it wide open for me now. That's all you got to do today.
7th overall on his first lap.
And how does the driver know it's going well? Looking at the RPM gauge, Jeff. He can judge his RPM, where they were at in practice, and he looks like he maybe have picked up a little bit of RPM.
Yep, he got it.
Got it.
And I love what Scott Zipadelli told us. Just hold it wide open for me.
51.81, 184.826 miles per hour, Wendy.
Thanks, Steve. Brian Vickers has run 3 times for Braun Racing this year. All top 10s, 2 of them have been top 5s. We're back here at Talladega. How confident do you feel about your car at this run at the Speedway?
I feel good about the race tomorrow or Monday, whenever we get it in. But I'm not too sure about today. We made a qualifying run yesterday and wasn't that great, but we didn't pull the pucks back. We didn't take, we didn't do a lot of things. We just kind of threw it in there at the last minute in practice. We didn't run a lot of laps. There's really not a lot you can do to the cars here. But, I'm really proud of the Dollar General crew. They do a great job. They've done a great job all year. And, Reed's done a good job keeping the car up in the points. So hopefully we can have a good run here and maybe go for a win.
All right, good luck to Brian Vickers. And, of course, that ride is split between he and Reed Sorenson.
All right, thank you very much, Wendy. And we watched Stephen Wallace come to the start-finish line. Hermie, we typically talk about your starting position and how critical it is to where you are going to qualify. What about here this morning? 10:30 local, we started. Temperature's about 72 degrees. And so how is it going to play out here?
I don't think it makes a lot of difference once you get on the racetrack as far as the temperature. What really makes a difference is the wind. A little bit of wind starts blowing in. That's much more, can either aid your lap. If you got a little bit of a tailwind going in that back straightaway, it can really pick you up. If you got a little bit of a headwind, it can really slow you down. So to me, the luck of the draw, where you go out, I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference here, other than the team's doing a better job of keeping their fluids warm and those kind of things. But wind is a big variable here.
And you take a look at the big flag, which everybody looks at down over at turn 4, and you can get a pretty good idea that it's blowing down the back straightaway. So you're going to get a little bit of a benefit today. I'll tell you something that when you talk about a determining factor or something that can really affect today's runs, the room of doom. I mean, that's inspection has a lot to do. What you do on your own, you try very hard to get the car NASCAR legal when you're out there making qualifying runs. But just being off a little bit on a spoiler angle, a little bit on the height of the car, anything can have a big impact as far as your speed's concerned. Sometimes you can trick yourself. And the other part is your restrictor plate, Steve. The teams are responsible for their own restrictor plates. If you get it nicked up, it can sometimes give you a false reading how good your engine's running. And then all of a sudden you go through NASCAR's room of doom, we like to call it. You get out here on the line, and all of a sudden you don't have the speed that you thought you did. That can surprise a lot of crew chiefs and drivers.
Yeah, I mean, a good point. I was going to bring up the same thing, is that you put your restrictor plate on and you can make yourself look like you're pretty good. That's one thing I learned from Yates too, Doug and Robert. Every time we changed and put NASCAR's plate on, we picked up a little bit. They always made sure their plates, if anything, were a little bit on the conservative side, as to not fool the crew chief and the driver to make you think you're better than you are.
Steve Wallace picks up. He's 7th overall. Dick Berggren standing by with a guy who's quickest.
Jason Leffler, we were listening to your crew telling you all you had to do was just keep the throttle wide open. Did you do it?
Yeah, I had the easy part today. I got to thank all the guys on the Great Clips crew. They did an awesome job. It's not like we had months to fine-tune on this thing. I mean, they were up till 2 o'clock this week, all working late just to get the thing done. And got to thank the Fab Shop, everybody at Braun Racing back at home. This is a testament to their work. So I had the easy part, and hopefully it hangs on for up there in the top 5. And just really got to thank the guys for working hard, and it's a good reward for them.
So if it's that easy, maybe Steve Burns could do it.
No, nope. no, he couldn't. Appreciate Jason's confidence, but no, he couldn't. No, I can't, Hermie.
I think you could.
No.
Man once told me, stick with what you know.
That's it.
And as our director this time, Barry Landis pointed out to me really quickly in my ear, kind of limits me.
I did go through a driving school once years ago, back around 1990 in Atlanta. Thought I was getting to be, husky, hairy chest kind of guy going out making laps. One of the mechanics said, "Hey, check your tack next time you go down the backstretch." So I did, pulled in, told him what it was. He goes, "Just think, 25 miles an hour faster, you could make a cup race here." Put me in my place pretty quick.
Reality check real
That's one
quick.
thing those driving schools have really been good for, anytime you've got a crew chief or owner or a sponsor that wants to sit up in the stands and ask you why you're not passing anybody.
Yeah. Send them through a driving school.
Put them through a driving school, yeah.
23-year-old Michael Annett, 15th in points. He's lost 5 points positions in his last 2 events.
Yeah, but he's got to be kind of licking his chops when he comes to super speedway racing, because he's got 2 wins. He's got 1 here at Talladega as well as 1 at Daytona in the ARCA series. But anytime you get back to a place where you go into victory lane, Hermie, it kind of boosts your confidence, doesn't it?
Absolutely it does. And you look forward to going to those places too, because it just feels good when you get back to a racetrack that you visited victory lane and know that at the end of one of these races you can make the right move and get in the right line and get it done. Certainly it's big for your confidence.
He's got a pretty good lap going here on his second lap down the back straightaways. Currently holding about 6 quickest.
Annett, the 15th driver to qualify of 48.
Now, Steve, you noticed he was good down the back straightaway, but it could be some of what Hermie was talking about. He turned off in the corner, may have turned it into too tight or whatever, but he lost the position. So if you kind of watch our tracker, sometimes it can be a good indicator of what you're doing inside that race car, you know, complementing the car itself.
Michael Annett, 7th overall. As Jeff said, he was up to about 6th, but slowed down just a bit, scrubbed off a fraction of a second. So 7th overall, 183.17 miles per hour on his second lap. Time to beat, 51.811, 184.826, posted by Jason Leffler. Our most recent winner in the NASCAR Nationwide Series is Kyle Busch in the 18. 5 top 3 finishes in his last 6 races, and guess what? 3 of those are wins, trying to win his 3rd consecutive race. Take a look at the all-time victory leaders in the Nationwide Series, and Kyle Busch is nipping at Kevin Harvick's heels.
You know, I guess we get kind of used to watching him win, but what he's accomplishing in this Nationwide Series is pretty remarkable, especially as close as the competition is now in this series, and to win the number of races he's won in a pretty short period of time, Jeff, pretty impressive.
It's very impressive, and again, you look at the group of guys he's kind of in between right there, Iron Man Jack Ingram and Mark Martin, who has been Mr. Nationwide for forever and a day, along with Kevin Harvick. I mean, we may be watching a pretty good battle between these 2 guys over the next few years. I'm talking about Kevin and Kyle, to see whether or not somebody winds up knocking Mark Martin off the top of the list.
Kyle won the Camping World Truck Series race here a year ago. Got a Sprint Cup win here in April of 2008. Although he's never won here in Nationwide Series competition, his best finish is 3rd. Led 153 laps on Monday at the Texas Motor Speedway.
That's pretty good, huh?
I'd say of 200. It's domination. Only driver to lead laps in every Nationwide Series race this year. And he's won 6 of his last 12 Nationwide Series races.
You know, that's a testament not only to the driver, but also let's don't overlook the fact that how strong Joe Gibbs Racing is when it comes to the Nationwide Series. With Logano as well as Kyle Busch, they pretty much have their way when they come over here, and they get the job done. That's just all there is to it. And I'm still kind of curious. We were talking earlier whether or not he was going to run for the point championship this year, and the way I understand it from Bill Sloboda, from our stats and what I hear around the garages, all up to Joe and JD, who are the owners of the car.
33 Nationwide Series wins all time. Kyle Busch, your points leader, 3rd overall. It's Jason Leffler, Menard, and Kyle Busch. Stay with us here on Speed. Jason Leffler signing some autographs. It'll be a while before we find out if he is in fact the pole sitter for the Aaron's 312. Meanwhile, Mike Wallace on the racetrack. Top 5 qualifiers. Mike Wallace comes here 14th in points. Won an ARCA race here back in 1995. And as Jeff said, he is a great restrictor plate racer.
And somebody's probably going to say, well, Hammond, he's not got a bunch of wins. How can makes him great? What I appreciate about Mike is Mike has been known to get into equipment that is maybe not as competitive as others and make them look like they've got more. I mean, they take lesser teams, and he's done a really excellent job getting the car up there and being competitive.
Let's check in again with Wendy.
And I'm with Clint Boyer. About 4 cars ready to go out. You've been watching qualifying. What have you been able to learn so far?
Well, I was watching qualifying earlier, and I learned that the Toyotas are whining about that plate, and I just looked up over your shoulder, and they're 3rd and 5th. I don't think I have much to whine about, but our Zaxby Chevrolet is really fast. I'm looking forward to the race. Hopefully we get it in. Big storm coming tomorrow, but just happy to be in this thing. It's always fun to race these nationwide cars at super speedways. They draft, suck up so well. It's just a lot of fun, so hopefully we'll have a good day.
All right, thanks, Clint. Let's head over to Dick.
You look at the numbers for Talladega Superspeedway, and it turns out that the last 5 years have averaged 26 changes for the lead. That's a lead change about every 4 to 5 laps. So is this the toughest of all the tracks to put yourself in position to be in the right spot, to lead the race, to win the race at the end?
It is. You know, this place is, you just never know what's going to happen, and it always changes every single lap. You know, it's hard to keep track of everything throughout a race here, but you know, for us in the Z-Line Designs Camry, we look to try to win when we come here, but so far we haven't quite been in the right position to do that. But man, when it comes down to the last few laps, you don't know who's your friend, you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's happening, you don't know where you need to put yourself. It's just, it's crazy. So for myself, we'll just try to do what we need to do to be there at the end. Somehow I learned how to win a truck race here, so maybe I can put it together for a nationwide one too.
All right, wish you well. Thank you.
But Dick, things are happening quickly for Steve Arpin's career.
They are, and I get to have a little fun with Kyle Busch Thursday night at Southside Speedway in Midlothian, Virginia, racing in the Denny Hamlin Short Track Showdown for the Denny Hamlin Foundation. And Kyle and Joey Logano, Tony Stewart, a group of guys are going to get on the track at Southside next Thursday night and
you
mix it up. Yes, sir.
You're going to mix it up.
Aren't you running the nationwide race at Richmond, and the Virginia is for lovers?
Well, I'm running the Virginia's for lovers car in Denny Hamlin's race. And then running the TNA Wrestling Ford in the nationwide race next Friday night at Richmond.
Yeah, he's going to be driving the Robbie Benton in.
Yeah, the 09 car,
we talked about that this morning, believe it or not.
Well, I said things are happening quickly for Steve Arpin. He's 26 years old. He's a Canadian native. He's won the last 2 ARCA races, Salem, Indiana, and Texas.
I was noticing Wendy was talking to him earlier. Didn't have quite the same accent we've got in Emporia.
No. You know where he's from?
Ontario.
Yep, Port Francis, Ontario.
If you say so.
That's the way you'd say it. Yes, if I we do. Have a little bit of a...
Top of the sheet, babe. Good job.
How about that? We said things are happening fast. And they are for 26-year-old Steve Arpin.
Boy, his heart rate just went up a little bit more, waiting for the
I'd say
expectations for tomorrow.
He's leading the ARCA points, won the last 2 ARCA races, and now currently sitting on the pole for his first nationwide race.
And people at home watching this race, that's a white race car. I bet Dale Earnhardt Jr. would love to find a sponsor to put on that car for this weekend.
Danica Patrick started the year in that car. She'll be back.
Call your people at TNA and tell them to run on down there. Tell Hulk Hogan to put his name on there.
No, they're saving that money for me in Richmond next week.
All right. Don't dip into that well.
Yeah. Watch it.
Hang on. So Brian Vickers in the 32 car. Let's see if he has anything for young Steve Arpin. By the way, I want to mention that 7 car with Steve Arpin is locked in by virtue of car owner points, but this is his NASCAR Nationwide Series debut.
If you're going to make a splash, make a big one, right?
Make it big. So Steve Arpin at 185.140 miles per hour, 51.723.
We have some cup owners over saying, who is that guy?
Bet you they all know his name now. started to say Danica Patrick, of course, started the year in the 7 car. Scott Wimmer drove it a time or two.
Landon Castle's driven it a couple times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now the 2003 NASCAR Nationwide Series champion, Brian Vickers, still just 26 years old. 4 career Nationwide Series poles.
You know, Harvey, the big thing about when we take a look at this Dollar General car, he's got the autism logo on it. You know, during the month of April, they have committed, not only they gave $50,000, but they also said that for every race won by either Brian Vickers or Reed Sorenson, they will make an additional $50,000 donation to the Autism Foundation. I think that's pretty impressive right there for them to be willing to do that.
Yeah, Trent Owens is just had a son, I believe, diagnosed with autism recently.
Yeah, he's almost 3 years old. In fact, Trent and Reed Sorenson drove that car last week. We're on trackside, or not trackside, but NASCAR Live. We're talking about it. So Trent was saying the diagnosis for his son was pretty good. He said they caught it early, and early diagnosis and awareness, education is the key.
Early intervention is the key.
Wendy.
Jamie McMurray in the 88 car for Junior Motorsports. You just watched your teammate, Steve Arpin, take the pole. Is your car going to be just as fast? Do you have anything for him?
Well, it's a really good sign, but you never know when you come to Talladega or Daytona if you're going to get the right wind gust, or a lot of factors play into that. But that's a really good sign for them to be on the pole, and Pops told me we should be in the top 10, so I feel pretty good about the Hellman's Mayonnaise car.
All right, thanks to Jamie McMurray. He was sharing his concerns, Steve, about the weather for tomorrow. That seems to be the common theme among everyone here in the Nationwide Garage.
Yeah, last I looked, Wendy, there's an 80% chance of thunderstorms and some high winds.
Look at this
There's
smile.
Steve Arpin.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about the weather.
Oh, no.
Wow. That's cool, isn't it? That is cool.
You're unbelievable.
By the way, Brian Vickers, 9th overall in his Toyota. Jeff was talking about the strength of the Penske Nationwide Series teams. Justin Allgaier, one of the teammates, got his first win at Bristol earlier this year.
He comes into here driving a car that he finished 4th with in February at Daytona. Got some confidence in that. You've already talked about he does have one win this year. But you know what I keep sensing out of this young man is that he comes off being so polite and almost shy.
Yep.
But don't let that fool you. That cat right there, I think he put a bumper to you if he had to in a heartbeat. He's getting a lot more, I think, aggressive and more confident each and every week. So
winning a race will do that.
It will.
It gives you the feeling that you're not just here, that you belong here, and that makes a big difference.
And we talked about it also, about the confidence side of it. He won here in 2008, and he also made a comment, told me that a lot of the guys that are on this Nationwide team were part of that ARC win, so they like coming here. And I was going to ask you, Herman, when you come to this place, we talked about the apprehensive of it, nature of it. What about the fun aspect? We hear some guys say, hey, it's fun. Yeah. Is it fun to go out there and race? I mean, can you put all the fear factor kind of like out of your head and just go out there and have some fun?
I think this place is a lot like Darlington in that regard, that some people really love racing here and some people are just frustrated by it. And the reason they're frustrated by it is no matter how good you may think you are or how good you think your car is, you cannot separate yourself from other guys on the racetrack. And you go to Darlington, some people will say, I love the challenge of racing a place like Darlington. Some people will say, I do not like Darlington because it's a tough racetrack. So, again, I think people are split down the middle based on the success they've had here.
You? Which way?
Oh, I love it. Okay. I love it. I mean, a lot of times it gives you a chance of guys that you may not be able to race as competitively with on some other racetracks. This draft is a great equalizer, brings everybody into play.
Justin Allgaier picks up a good bit. He's 8th overall, but Dick Berggren standing by with the quickest Steve Arpin.
Steve, now. You said earlier you were walking on air. Why not? I mean, you lead the ARCA points, won the last 2 ARCA races, start 5th in this afternoon's ARCA race, and now in your first ever nationwide start so far, at least you're P1. Do you believe this?
This is just the most incredible week of 2 weeks I've ever had in my life. We got our first 2 ARCA wins, and now to be here at Junior Motorsports and having this opportunity on the nationwide side, it's just the coolest thing in the world. Like, it's beautiful out here. We're at Talladega. I'm racing with Junior Motorsports. What more could we ask for?
5 o'clock, tune into Speed. You get a chance to watch this guy try to win the ARCA race here at Talladega.
We have an awesome car over in the ARCA side, Venturing Motorsports, and all the guys, they've just been, those guys pour their heart and soul into that deal, and they brought me an incredible Mike's Hard Lemonade Chevy here. Actually, we're Toyota this weekend. They brought us an incredible car here. We thought we had a shot at the pole, but we ended up 5th, but we got an awesome race car to go drafting with, and hopefully we're going to be there at the end.
This kid, Arpin, he is the real deal, I guarantee you.
The 21 car. Monday at the Texas Motor Speedway, Clint Boyer. Contact with the 33. On board with Clint Boyer and into the wall. Ouch. Boyer wound up finishing 36th. John West Townley started the year in that 21 car. Clint's been in for the last couple of races.
And talking to the guys in the garage, the 2 cars that they talk about as far as speed to get the pole that could be a threat to Steve Arpin are this 21 of Clint Boyer and the 33 of Kevin Harvick. Those are the guys that everybody says for qualifying, watch out for the speed in these cars. So we'll see if people in the garage know what they're talking about.
Now, Hermie, one of the things when they were talking, what you're saying is exactly what I heard, that the 33 car of Kevin Harvick was one of the very few teams that had the opportunity to respond to this increased shark fin that was announced basically in tech line at Texas to a lot of these competitors. They were able to get their car to the wind tunnel and get a little information that may, again, help them, during this qualifying time.
And that's the reason why a lot of fans, when you go racetrack to racetrack, everybody's always has ideas about what can NASCAR do about this, why doesn't NASCAR do that. NASCAR does not like to make rule changes during the course of the season for that reason, because somebody's going to get an advantage from it, and some smaller teams that don't have the resources or people at the shop while they're at the racetrack, they can't respond to stuff like that as fast.
They may be faster individually, and it may help them, but this, like I think you've already pointed out, that sometimes the slowest car, if you can kind of get up in that draft, you can keep up with these guys that have been in the wind tunnel and may have bigger bucks. Here at Talladega, great equalizer the way the draft works. This could be a pretty good little effort right here by Clint Boyer. He'll
pretty good for,
yep,
let's see, 184.26. Clint got his very first NASCAR Nationwide Series pole here, 2004. So he is 6th overall. The big story, 26-year-old Steve Arpin making his NASCAR Nationwide Series debut. He's from Ontario, Canada. Can he hang on to that? What a story that would be, as Reed Sorenson this week driving the 10 car takes to the 2.66 mile Talladega Superspeedway.
It's a little bit confusing because the way they're splitting things over at Braun Racing this year. You look at the 10 car, it's 27th in points, so it's locked into the race. But you look at where Reed is, he's had some good runs so far this year. He's 21st as far as the points are concerned, but he's only raced in 4 events.
Reed Sorenson's been to victory lane in the NASCAR Nationwide Series 3 times.
He had a good run in Nashville a couple weeks ago too. Yeah.
In fact, that's where he got his first career win.
It's good to see him back on the racetrack in this Nationwide Series and having some success. And he'd like to get back to the Cup level, but right now he's showing that he's worthy and a talented race car driver, having good success at Braun Racing.
It'll be interesting to see where he comes out qualifying wise. Right now, Braun has got 3 cars in the top 11, with Brian Vickers in the number 32 being 11th. But their fastest car happens to be Jason Leffler, and he is 2nd quickest.
Start-finish line for Reed Sorenson, 17th overall. Coming up, we'll see Michael McDowell, Jeff Green, Kevin Harvick, Jamie McMurray, Scott Lagasse, Carl Edwards Jr., Patrick Shelton, and Robert Richardson Jr.
That first lap ranks right up there in one of the fastest 3 first lap runs we've seen all day. Let's see what he can do down the back straight. Gave back a little bit right on the exit of the corner, but he gave it back down the back straightaway.
You'd like to see that pickup on the back straightaway. A good car, good motor, and a little bit tailwind.
There it goes. Watch the tracker, guys, right here.
He's got to face that wind there a little bit. A little bit of a headwind. It's going to be close.
It'll be close. See, flirting. Can he do it?
Oh, it's close. 2nd overall. Steve Arpin's best time, 51.723. Reed Sorenson, 51.765.
That's close.
NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying continues here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Michael McDowell in the 81 car, the 23rd driver to qualify. The big story here, Steve Arpin making his very first NASCAR Nationwide Series start is the pole sitter. 48 drivers will qualify here for the Aaron's 312, which hopefully will run tomorrow. Following McDowell, former series champ Jeff Green, another series champ Kevin Harvick, and Jamie McMurray driving the 88 car for Dale Earnhardt Jr. So big names coming up here at Talladega. Cinderella story, Steve Arpin with his wife. He hang on for the pole position. Tomorrow, the Rolex Sports Car Series will thunder through the gentle landscape of Virginia. On the legendary Virginia International Raceway, Pruitt and Rojas will continue their quest towards the championship. Don't miss the Rolex Sports Car Series from VIR tomorrow at 2 Eastern, only on Speed. They were just racing down here, weren't they, in Birmingham? Barber, is it Barber Motorsports?
Barber Motorsports, yeah.
Did you like, Hermie liked that, the legendary Virginia. Anything that has Virginia, Hermie's.
I'm a proud Virginian, man.
You are a Virginian.
He's a Virginia native. Commonwealth Virginia. Let's make sure we get that straight.
Smoky Ordinary. That's where his mom's from.
It's right outside of Antietam.
We're not going to go down that road again, are we?
Which is near
Sugar Pig Hill.
Sugar Pig Hill.
Population 49.
Hey. Jeff Green, the 40 car, 24th overall, and we go to Dick Berggren.
With Reed Sorenson, who right now is 2nd overall in a terrific car. Dave Blaney had once qualified this car in 2nd position, as did Brian Vickers. So how much pressure have you got to do it one more and win that race tomorrow? We hope tomorrow.
Hopefully we can. You know more about this car than I do. All these guys at Braun Racing did a good job. I'll tell you what, I'm surprised. I thought we were going to be middle of the pack. And
why?
Well, we didn't run very fast yesterday, but we didn't pull out all our tricks until today, but they did a good job. All black car, it looks pretty cool. Wish we had something on it, but I'm pretty excited about tomorrow now. It drove really good in the draft, so I knew we had a good race car, and was pleasantly surprised that they ran that fast by itself. And we got 4 of us out there tomorrow, so we'll use that to our advantage and try to work together. And I think we'll have some fun tomorrow, and I think we'll get one of us in victory lane.
Hey Dick, right quick. He was on the pole till he turned off a turn 4. Could he feel the car, feel that wind? I mean, is it that strong out there? Because that's what kept him from sitting on the pole, just that little bit off of 4.
You were on the pole, Hammond said you were on the pole until you came off turn 4. Was the wind what slowed you down? What happened from turn 4 to the start-finish line?
Yeah, there is a little bit of a headwind, just looking at the flags here. So I didn't lift. The RPM picked up down the back stretch, and we went through 3 and 4. I could feel the headwind a little bit when we came out of 4, so that probably hurt us a little bit. My crew chief didn't think we were going to run that fast either. Now he's mad because we barely missed the pole there. So, I think that little bit of a headwind probably hurt us. You can see the flags here moving. But still, that's a great qualifying run. We're happy with that. And let's get ready for tomorrow.
hood was up, but that's not an impound violation. NASCAR just took a fuel sample, which they often do here at Talladega, to make sure everybody is playing straight and fair.
Well, Dick, we may be onto something here because Kevin Harvick is third quickest on his first lap. And, Jeff, that is by far the fastest first lap we have seen.
I heard this one time many years ago. Hold the phone. Here comes Harvick, boys. That first lap, I mean, it's not even in the same zip code as everybody else's first lap. He's almost a half a second faster. You can clearly see where the pointer is. He is, I mean, he's getting ready to set this thing up on the stop.
He's looking real tough right now, but wait till I get him on the racetrack at Southside Thursday night.
You wear him out, won't you?
And I also want to mention that we'll have highlights of the Denny Hamlin Foundation race next Saturday on race day prior to the Cup race at Richmond.
You'll wear him out.
Well, right
He'll have to slow down and go the other way.
Right now, let me tell you who's wearing something out. That happens to be Kevin Harvick right here. Get you some of this, boys.
Wow.
51.10. That's 0.6 of a second faster than second place.
That's what we call a spanking.
You got that right.
Good job, guys. Same RPM as yesterday.
And more than 2 miles an hour faster than the Cinderella story Steve Arpin. 187.375 miles per hour. There you see Arpin. He's not going to be the pole sitter, but it's a great story nonetheless. 51.106 the time for Kevin Harvick, who comes to Talladega fourth in the Sprint Cup Series points, third in the Nationwide Series, and fourth in the Camping World Truck Series.
Well, let's put it this way. If Steve Arpin can stay up on the front row, we'll have an all-rookie front row. Remember, DW, he hung the nickname on Kevin Harvick a few years ago, started calling him the rookie, so that would be pretty impressive. But Jamie McMurray, who happens to be teammates with Steve Arpin, he's not done yet, so there may be some more moving going on as far as the top's concerned before it's all said and done here today. We still got some fast race cars. We got Carl Edwards coming up right after McMurray, so we still got a lot of fast race cars.
You guys hear police sirens? I hope that wasn't Dick Berger misbehaving.
I thought they were coming for you, Burns.
Oh, no.
Oh, I know who it is. Dave Blatt.
Ah, David Blatt.
I think Dave Blatt, he's been in trouble since he got into Alabama.
Well, Kelly Byers started the year in this 88 car. Jamie McMurray is scheduled to run the next 6 races in this 88 for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Earnhardt drove that car at Daytona.
I think he turned upside down in it,
Sure
didn't he?
did.
So it may not have been that car.
It was that paint scheme and that number. How about that?
There you go.
Might not have been the car.
Not many people left Daytona and brought that car here.
7 Nationwide Series wins for McMurray.
Harvey, Jamie's a lot like what you were saying. He says that when you come to Talladega, the one thing you don't want to do is overanalyze this racetrack. You come in here, you do your job, you run your race, you keep your nose clean, and you feel your way through the field basically all day long. In the end, you're trying to put yourself in the best position to win. And let's face it, Jamie McMurray's got a pretty impressive restrictor plate resume when it comes to this style of racetrack.
I mean, he won the Daytona 500, so enough said as far as that.
He won the fall race, cup race here, last year, and he's also won it at Daytona on July 4th. So, I mean, all he needs is a spring race to go with it. He'll pretty much have them all covered.
He's one of the guys that understands all you need to do at the beginning of the race. Number 1, try to stay out of trouble if possible. Number 2, when you get around cars on the racetrack, see how your car reacts around those cars, and if you find a good dancing partner for later in the race, and Jamie does a good job of that.
Start-finish line for Jamie McMurray. Picks up to just 14th overall on his second lap. Coming up, Scott Lagasse, Carl Edwards, Patrick Shelton, and Robert Richardson. We'll hear from Kevin Harvick. Speed's coverage of NASCAR nationwide qualifying from Talladega is brought to you by AC/DC Iron Man 2, the album. Available everywhere now. And by Tornadoes. Bold is how we roll. Kevin Harvick, the quickest by a lot at 187.375 miles per hour. Scott Lagasse Jr. on the racetrack. And speaking of that AC/DC Iron Man 2, Jason Avery, one of the producers for Race Hub, he had that on his desk. That might sneak into my briefcase next week.
I thought they was talking about Hermie. Iron Man.
Oh, yeah. Our Iron Man, Dick Berggren, standing by with a current pole sitter.
Well, to finish first, you must first finish. And Kevin Harvick is perhaps one of the very best of it in all time. 115 races since he has crashed out of a nationwide event. He has 18 Cup starts here. He's finished every one. 5 nationwide starts here. He has finished every one. How do you manage to survive at a place like Talladega where so many crash out and you are always there at the end?
I think there's 2 answers to that question. I think fast cars have a lot to do with it, like our Rheem Chevrolet is today. And I think the second thing is when you crash, they have good preparation plans that we've used in the past to get the cars back together and get them out on the racetrack just to go out and finish the race at whatever speed that is. So they do a really good job of making sure that they have all that together.
Every race fan has memories of this guy going through the middle of stuff and coming out with all 4 fenders still in the car undamaged.
That is a fact, Dick Berggren. Carl Edwards, 6 top 10 finishes this year. Former series champion as well. Kevin Harvick's quick time, 51.106, 187.375 miles per hour. You see Carl finished 30th at Texas, snapping a streak of 18 consecutive top 10 finishes. Following Carl Edwards, Patrick Shelter and Robert Richardson Jr. will conclude the drivers who are locked into tomorrow's race, and will start knockout qualifying. Morgan 9.
Pretty good first lap there, Jeff.
Yes, he got a good opportunity to move up quite a bit in the second lap. Talked to Drew Blickensdorfer, his crew chief, and he was telling me this is the same car that David Reagan actually won this race in a year ago. So for one of his first win as far as the nationwide series is concerned. So they've got great optimism. They've got a good race car for tomorrow. Wasn't too sure how it was going to work out in qualifying, but right now watching the tracker guys, I mean, he's got it working right now. He may not be able to get to Kevin, but he's going to look like he's going to want to share that front row with him.
Looks like he's solid in second, but it let Kevin Harvick lay down really blistering lap.
Got to go something to get up there where Kevin was. I know that.
Jumps up to second. 51.552 for Carl Edwards, so Kevin Harvick hangs on to the pole position. Stay with us in Talladega. Sunday, NASCAR race day tears into Talladega, where Texas winner Denny Hamlin joins the crew live. Plus, Kyle and Kenny weigh in on the rough driving between teammates Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot, live Sunday at 10 Eastern. Also, Johnny Roberts, Wendy Venturini, and handsome Hermie Sadler.
I was going to say, do I not get to weigh in on that?
I just put it in there. How about that?
Appreciate that.
I'm here for you.
There's your car for next week.
Yep.
Patrick Shelton may be in it this week, but Hermie Sadler would be driving this number 09 at Richmond.
I tell you, I spent a couple days at the shop with that group this past week, Robbie Benton and his guys, and they're a bunch of hardcore racers. Trying to put stuff together to make it happen. They need sponsorship on this car in a big way, but you love the enthusiasm those guys have at the shop. They're really trying to make something happen.
Yeah, you're not going to find anybody in that garage area that want to race any more than Robbie Benton and his organization. And, you know, just one of those deals, if they can just make it happen and get a little bit of sponsorship. Right now, good effort right here by this group right at Patrick Shelter. He was been basically racing in the ARCA series quite a bit. He's 14th quickest right now in the 09 car.
Good run.
Wendy.
And it's a big day for Jason Keller, celebrating the big 4-0 today. Happy birthday. How's that car?
Well, thank you. Yesterday the car was really good, so takes a little pressure off. But you know, when you're a go or go homer, you still there's pressure there. But you know, so hopefully it's a happy birthday. I want to wish my son a happy birthday. That's the main thing. When you get to 40, you kind of make sure that the attention is on something else. And today's Joe's birthday, so happy birthday to him. And just it's going to be hopefully we'll be good enough. I think we will.
All right, good luck. A shared birthday for the Keller family. Dick?
And Carl Edwards right now is in position P2, but Kevin Harvick in P1 is 1.5 miles an hour faster than you are. How do you beat a guy like that on race day?
Well, that's the good thing about Talladega is that anything can happen, and I'm just proud of these guys. You know, as good as this car is right now, I feel like we've got a car that we can run up front all day with. You know, we've had a Ford here in Victory Lane, you know, in the last year. You know, David Reagan did it, and just you know, for Fastenal and Copart and all these guys, I hope we can build on what we did last week. We had such a solid run, had some bad luck, and Steve Arpin up there, he, man, I walked out of the hauler and he's on the pole, and I thought, man, you know, people are telling me that they can't get the smile off his face, so I'm gonna sneeze. My allergies are killing me. I need my Claritin. Just excited to get the race started. Hopefully we can race up there with Steve. I think our teammates are going to be pretty good too. They had some more qualifying runs, and you know, they might actually have something for that 33 car. It'd be great to have a Ford on the pole.
And Carl Edwards was one of the people that was pushing to get Steve Arpin in the Nationwide Series.
Yeah, and I got to give credit to Carl Fredrickson. He's the one who called me and said, man, you got to go drive this guy's race car. You got to meet him, and hopefully Steve does as well as we all hope he can.
I think he will. Thank you.
Yeah, Dick, so far so good for Steve Arpin. He's third overall. It's Kevin Harvick and Carl Edwards in front of him. Robert Richardson Jr., former SMU quarterback. Final driver who is locked into the field. Coming up, we'll see Morgan Shepherd, Donnie Neuenberger, and Bobby Gerhart as knockout qualifying begins.
You know, when you listen and you hear what Carl Edwards said about Steve Arpin about getting a shot, I think there's not very many people that can be much better than saying how much it meant to him to get a shot and making the most of it. So I'm sure that Carl and a lot of the people are, you know, that have had them can really understand where he's coming from. I'm talking about Steve Arpin making the most of this opportunity.
And give Carl credit. He's trying to pay it forward, helping out young drivers. Let's see if Robert Richardson Jr. picks up on his second lap in his Chevrolet. Checkered flag unfurled for Richardson. Picks up just a little, 29th of 30 drivers. Well, folks, knockout qualifying is going to start when we come back to the Talladega Superspeedway. Steve Arpin talking to Carl Edwards. Big story, those drivers second and third right now. Kevin Harvick is the pole sitter. And we have started knockout qualifying here for the drivers not locked in. And how about the first lap turned in, Hermie, by 68-year-old Morgan Shepherd, 23rd overall.
He had a great first lap. It doesn't look like he's picking up as much on his second lap as some other competitors, which leads me to believe he didn't use quite as much of the racetrack trying to go and get a safe lap in on lap one. But either way, very good run from Morgan Shepherd.
Picks up a little bit, 19th overall. Wendy?
Steve, if you guys remember, it was Parker Kligerman who sat on the pole for his nationwide debut. Yet you were the fastest of the go or the go home cars. What do you think about your qualifying effort? How will it be?
Well, yeah, as you said in the first practice, from what we could see, we were the fastest of the go homers, and you know that's all we can ask for when we're trying to qualify in time. I didn't get to do any drafting practice, so you know I don't know exactly what it will do in drafting, but we did a little bit of that at Daytona with the same car, since this is the car that we didn't get to race there. But, you know, I think if we can just go put in what we did in practice, we'll be a top 15, top 10 car, and that'd be excellent. And, you know, it's not me that does that. It's these guys. So, you know, this is their qualifying effort. This is their day to shine. So hopefully we can put it up there for them.
All right, thanks, Parker. It's been good to watch these guys from the ARCA Series move up through the Nationwide and have success.
9 times Parker Kligerman won in the ARCA Series last year. Wendy? As we watch Donnie Neuenberger from Brandywine, Maryland, driving Jimmy Means' car, Hermie, I want to ask you, this perhaps is a dumb question, but we've heard drivers say the car drafts well. If you're driving a car that doesn't draft well, obviously you're not going to finish well, but why wouldn't a car draft well? What prevents it from doing so?
Well, what you want in a car in drafting is when you pull up behind another car, you want to be able to go all the way and actually make contact with that car or be able to gain speed and pull out and pass. A car that does not draft well, whether it be an engine, whether it be the body or the cowl or the aerodynamics, a car that does not draft well, as you pull up behind another car, your car will actually stall out. It will not allow you. It's like the wind buffer. You get there and the other car just pushes you back will not allow you to make that contact or get that momentum to make a pass. So if you've got a car that will not pull up, and if your car stalls out, it just makes it difficult for you to make passes in traffic.
Jeff, how do you fix that? How do you get a car that won't draft well, as Hermie said, pull up to that bumper?
Go back to the shop and get you something else, because a lot of times what you have here, you're stuck with. I mean, all that preparation and a lot of that work has to be done back at the shop. Not like a lot of places where you can change some springs and work on a little bit. Yeah, you can tweak on the fenders a little bit. You can try to keep the car, maybe add a little more tape. But Steve, most of the time, if you've got a car that won't work here and you show up, you're not going to fix it here at the racetrack unless you bring the body man down and start doing some serious beating and banging.
Yeah, you do some body work, and a lot of times it has to do with cowl pressure. When you get right behind another car, instead of the air going into cowl, that air is bouncing off that car in front of you and going around your car, so you lose a lot of that cowl pressure. So
which means you don't make horsepower.
Yeah, the smart engine guys and the Doug Yates that we've talked about, those kind of people know how to get that car to continue to keep that cowl force, that air shoving in that cowl to make horsepower.
Donnie Neuenberger in that 52 car, currently
27th
quickest on his first lap with IHOP on the car. And this weekend, Bob Sharp, who happens to be one of the owners of the West Virginia IHOP store owner, is on this car in honor and memory of the West Virginia coal miners that tragically lost their life. And so they've done a lot up in West Virginia to try to help that rescue activity and everything going up there. So great effort right there by Jimmy Means and Donnie Neuenberger.
16th overall for Neuenberger. Monday night on Speed, don't miss an all-new Fast Track to Fame. It's the talent competition so wild, it can only happen trackside. Watch an all-new Fast Track to Fame from Talladega Superspeedway Monday, 8 Eastern, only on Speed. Speaking of speed, Kevin Harvick is the quickest in his Chevrolet, 187.375 miles per hour. Veteran Bobby Gerhardt, long-time ARCA campaigner, driving the 75 car. Collaborative effort with Bob Shack.
Guys, this 75 car, it ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw when they got down here going through inspection. They had a few parts and pieces that NASCAR wasn't really happy with. They talk about the trailing arm, some bolts, a couple lower control arms. By the time they got through rebuilding this car, they only got a couple of laps on the racetrack. So Bobby's had his hands full, but right now coming back to start-finish line, it looks like they're going to make a great recovery, and they're going to wind up being 11th quickest in this 75 car.
Bobby has just 8 nationwide series starts, but as far as restrictor plate racing, 6 Daytona wins, and he also has a win here, Wendy, in ARCA competition back in 2001.
And another guy that has some experience here at this racetrack, Colin Brown. You raced here in the Truck Series. This is the first time in the nationwide car at Talladega. The last time you were here, you led the most laps in the Truck Series. Is your car going to be just as good in nationwide this weekend?
Well, I think so. These guys on this number 16 Conway Freight Ford Fusion car gave me a great car. This is the same car we had at Daytona, and it ran pretty good there. So I feel like they've done a really good job, and we're going to have a good car today.
All right, and he's coming off his best finish of the season last week. I should say this week, Steve, when we raced Monday in Texas.
Yeah, let's not forget that. Hey, speaking of that, of the schedule, Jeff, Hermie, you guys can speak to this. How difficult it is for these guys, for logistically speaking. They were supposed to race Saturday in Texas, wound up not racing until early Monday evening. I mentioned it earlier, Brian Scott said they missed 2 entire days in the shop, have to turn right back around and be in Talladega.
I think it was already talked about by Jason Leffler that his guys were working up to 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning trying to get caught up. And Steve, you don't want to talk about bad things, but a lot of the teams are prepared that in the event it's raining here on Saturday to leave Talladega, go back to their shops in Charlotte, work Saturday evening and Sunday before returning down here on Monday, because that's when the race will probably wind up being rescheduled, according to NASCAR's director, Joe Ballish, that if they happen to get rained out, it will be run on Monday. So there's been a lot of planning and trying to get caught up because guys are right now behind going into Richmond.
It's like a lot of other things. The bigger teams that have more manpower, they can react to stuff like that. Some of the teams, especially a lot of these in the nationwide series, that don't have extra equipment and haulers and extra people at the shop, it puts them at more of a disadvantage.
24-year-old Shelby Howard to the start-finish line. Great effort by Bobby Gerhardt, 11th overall.
Shelby's got a good lap going, a good lap one, and looks good right around the bottom of the racetrack. Chris Rice is the crew chief on this car and got a lot of experience in the Nationwide Series. So Shelby's run pretty good in limited starts this year. He's really had a competitive car.
But guys, I think we also need to touch on the fact that we've seen what Kevin Harvick's done here, Carl Edwards has done. Those cars are race qualified trim. These cars, a lot of them may wind up being 100% qualifying trim. They may have done some things that get a little extra speed out of the car that may wind up hurting them when they drop the green flag whenever they do go racing here in the Nationwide Series.
Well, let's talk about that, because what are some of the tricks they do in the Sprint Cup Series, and are they similar here?
Very much similar. I mean, sometimes they'll come with a little bit, man, what about a qualifying lap?
Fourth overall.
Quickest overall right there for Shelby Howard. Great effort. But what they do, I mean, they may change the grease in the transmission and the rear end for one. They may run a little bit lighter oil there to try to reduce the drag, increase horsepower. Even to the fact, even with the engine, they may lean it out a little bit more for qualifying. It may not be the right thing to do. That may put them in jeopardy for the race. Even some of the setup itself, you know, even though NASCAR is very much involved with the springs and shocks as far as that's concerned, but whatever they can do to keep that car, you know, pinned down and make it run faster, but it may not be that good in the draft.
Dick Berggren.
With Steve Arpin, currently third quick, we watched you have a long conversation with Carl Edwards, your PR man. What were you guys talking about?
Well, Carl, like I said before, Carl's been a huge help in this whole deal for me since I started on the asphalt racing. And I'm just trying to, looks like we're going to be starting up close to the frontier tomorrow in the Junior Motorsports number 7. So I'm trying to learn a couple lessons the easy way before I have to learn them the hard way tomorrow. So Carl and I are just talking about lots of the things, how the race goes on, how the race transitions, kind of a little bit of a timeline of the race, what happens at the start of the race, 30 minutes in, 40 minutes in, and just kind of how the thing goes, and just really give me a lot of advice on how to stay out of trouble tomorrow. So like I said before, our biggest priority here tomorrow is to finish this race, and hopefully we'll be there competitive at the end. We obviously have a good enough car to do it. Now I just got to do my job.
Good strategy. Finish, finish, finish. Yep.
I can tell you what happens. They drop the green flag, and for the first 3/4 of the race, everybody is somewhat cordial, a little bit of give and take. The last 15 laps, not so much.
Herman, he brings up he had an opportunity to talk to Carl Edwards and get some advice. When you were getting into the sport, was there anybody that you went to on a regular basis that could help you with something like that? Was there a go-to guy that you felt like, I'll ask a question, he will give me the truth?
Martin. Okay. Always been that way. I mean, once I got to the Nationwide Series, you know, late models, you have your guys, you know, the local guys you talk to, but once I got to the Nationwide Series, you know, I was going from running at South Boston to going to Daytona, a big change. And Mark Martin has always been a guy that I felt like you could go ask a question, whether it be about a setup or, you know, driving style or information. He would always tell you the truth.
Steve Arpin talking about his conversation with Carl Edwards, and I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but he said he was trying to learn the easy way. If you learn a hard lesson, give me an example of that, Army.
I mean, hitting the wall hard, or, you know, learning when to make a move too quick, or...
I'm saying specifically, what's the hardest lesson you learned as we watched Josh Wise?
Well, I spun Chuck Bound out for 6 weeks. He never retaliated, but every time I try to walk by him, I'd get my nerve up to speak. He would always, you know, kind of look at me, and I'd walk the other way. So be careful who you spin out is a hard lesson to learn.
Josh Wise, the slowest of the go-or-go-home drivers, 29th overall. We'll be right back. Let's take a look at the menu here on Speed. Look at all that activity, Hermie Sadler. There's a lot more coming your way.
Busy, busy, busy.
Sprint Cup practice, 2 of them. NASCAR Lives, the ARC race. By the way, Brandon McReynolds
qualified 18th.
Makes his second ARCA start. Yep. Trackside at 7:30 with Clint Boyer. And check out the NASCAR Hall of Fame biography, Bill France Jr. The one on Bill Sr. was outstanding.
I'll tell you right now, I don't want to miss either one of these Sprint Cup practices. Yep. They're going to be exciting.
Yep. That's Willie Allen in the 05 31W Chevrolet. $36 drivers. Well, Allen the 36th to qualify. We should point out too, 48 cars here, just 43 start.
Yeah, and right now he is, when he got through qualifying practice yesterday, he was the 16th of the go or go home routine. He's going to have to pick it up a little bit.
Wendy.
And it's Wallace overload here on pit road. Chrissy Wallace hoping to make history again. Made history last year at Talladega. First father-daughter duo in the truck series, joined by dad Mike Wallace and uncle Kenny Wallace. Chrissy, what kind of advice are these two guys giving you? Because it can be a little bit overload when family wants to give their advice.
It definitely can, but I appreciate the help. You know, they're both making me realize I need to know what lap I'm on, my shifting points, where I have to be each lap. So that's a big thing I'm learning from both of them, and where I need to qualify at.
All right, well, I know Uncle Kenny and Dad Mike are very proud. Family love. Gotta love
Take a
Steve.
picture, Wendy. Take a picture. Good. Good job. You did it. I owe you. Kenny, what a nut. Brad Keselowski's older brother, Brian, on the racetrack. By the way, Shelby Howard, tremendous qualifying effort, 4th overall, and he is now locked into the show. Josh Wise, the slowest of the go or go home drivers. Keselowski will be followed by veteran Jason Keller, the birthday boy. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., then Derek Cope. Kevin Harvick is the quickest at a 51.106, 187.375 miles per hour.
I found it interesting as you mentioned Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and we just recently talked to Colin Brown. I mean, that he felt like that maybe his two teammates may have something for Kevin Harvick. I think that's kind of interesting.
Well, to your point, Jeff, a few moments ago, these guys don't have anything to lose. They need to get in the show, and if they compromise their race setup a little bit, so be it.
Well, I really feel like that with the Roush Fenway group, I don't think they're going to be quite out on the edge as somebody who knows they may be just a little bit, you know, on the backside of not making this show. They got to lay a lot more on the line than maybe they do. I think they feel like they probably got good enough cars, but it'll be interesting to see. They really will.
Brian Keselowski has one nationwide series start here. He finished 14th a year ago.
And look at this effort right here.
Yes,
Mr. Keselowski in the 26 car. I mean, according to the tracker, I mean, he is up there inside the top 10. Again, you know, indicates to me that they have not left anything on the table when it comes to qualifying.
Keselowski heads to the checkered flag. See if he picks up. He does indeed, 8th overall, and he has locked himself into the Aaron's 312. Coming up, Keller, Stenhouse, Cope, and Brown. Kevin Harvick, you see, the quickest in qualifying for the Aaron's 312 NASCAR Nationwide Series race. Jeff, take a look at our conditions when we started as opposed to what they are now. 17 degrees hotter on that track.
Yeah, that's not good, but the one that's really got my attention is the 78 degrees air temperature. When that air temperature starts warming up, it starts robbing horsepower. The racetrack temperature itself, yeah, here I think you can get by with a little bit warmer track temperature better than you can the air.
Jason Keller in the 35 car, 25th overall, locking Bobby Gerhardt into the show.
Yeah, one thing you've got to be careful of as the air temperature increases, you put as much tape as you can on the grill of these cars to get the car to go through the air quick, and you got to be careful about overheating your engine on that second lap. Even coming off turn 4 to the start-finish line, if you overheat, you can really not only hurt the engine, but really hurt your speed getting back to the line.
Lose a lot of horsepower when the engine overheats like it does. Let's don't forget too, Steve, this is an impound race like all nationwide races are. So, you know, once you get finished up, you're not supposed to be touching it.
One of the Roush Fenway cars driven by Ricky Stenhouse. Stenhouse has had a tough start to this 2010 season. He's failed to finish 3 of the 7 races. Does have one nationwide series pole to his credit, that coming in Iowa last year.
but he was the fastest of the go home cars yesterday in practice. So, you know, he's got a fast car, just got to bag it up.
'27th in points for Stenhouse. Hermie, how tough is it for a young guy like Stenhouse, just 22 years old, to, you know, turn the corner to where that confidence starts to come and that proverbial light switch goes on?
Well, what happens when you're a young driver like that, when you have some crashes or when you have some bad finishes, you put more pressure on yourself, and then you start driving over your head at times instead of, you know, just taking your time and settling in and getting some good solid finishes. So it's going to take some time. He needs to have some good finishes to get his confidence. He's just got to be careful not to try to do too much.
First lap for Stenhouse, 28th overall. And Jeff, from a team standpoint, he's had some, like we said, he hasn't finished 3 races, torn up some equipment. How difficult is it to be patient from the team side?
I think they all have to, you have to look at the situation, Steve. I mean, if he's out there doing his job and he's just a victim, you can accept it. But if all of a sudden he's in there putting his nose where it doesn't belong and making some mistakes where, you know, you try to keep him from forcing the issue and he just goes ahead and does it, then you get a little bit frustrated. But that's when you need a guy, an owner like, you know, Jack Roush will step in. I've seen Jack do it before and sit a young driver down. He did it with Greg Biffle. He's done it with Carl Edwards. Sometimes, you know, you have to sit him down and take a look at this lap time right here. He is really right now looking impressive in that number 6 car. His teammate talked about it. It's 3rd quick right now, so he locks himself in. This is good medicine right here. When you've had some bad weeks of racing, qualify up toward the front, that helps everybody.
Stenhouse 3rd overall. 8 drivers remaining to qualify here. That's all standing between Kevin Harvick and another pole position. Derek Cope in the 73 car, the latest out to test the high banks here at Talladega.
And he's got some work to do on his 2nd lap. He wants to run here tomorrow or Monday, whenever they do it. You see him way down here, but, you know, just a matter of needing to pick it up, not only his speed overall, but he needs to get all the way up to this area right here to lock himself in. You see where the green line is.
Donnie Neuenberger now locked into the field. Let's go back to Dick Berggren.
With Ricky Stenhouse, who has done a terrific job in qualifying, and the statistics show that 2 drivers have won their first ever nationwide race here at Talladega. In the Cup Series, 10 drivers have won their first ever. You ready to win your first ever tomorrow?
I don't see why we wouldn't. The guys worked really hard on this City Financial Ford Fusion. You know, this is goes to all the guys back at the shop. The engine shop, Roush Yates engine shop worked really hard. The guys that put the bodies on these things, they did a great job getting it back together after Daytona. And you know, I had little to do with that, but you know, we got March of Dimes on this weekend with City Financial, and you know, they're teamed up together to just help have stronger, healthier babies. So glad that we got March of Dimes on this weekend, and hopefully we'll have a good showing for them.
All right, wouldn't it be something to see this guy win in his first ever nationwide start here at Talladega, Steve?
Yeah, we talked about confidence, Dick. That would go a long ways towards helping him. And there's Ricky's teammate, Colin Brown, in the 16 car. He, too's been struggling to get going in the right direction.
He's got 2 teammates, Carl Edwards and Ricky Stenhouse, 2nd and 3rd. So, you know, these cars are fast. We'll see where he stacks up.
And Steve, the thing is, when we talk about these 2 Roush Fenway cars that are outside the top 30, we're talking about they need to pick up, one car needs to pick up about 30 points, the other one 35 points to get themselves back inside the top 30 in points. So, you know, a great opportunity to gain some points, you know, come tomorrow during the race, or to lose more ground. So, I mean, that's the key right now for them. There's a lot to lose, and the following week at Richmond, I mean, making that race is not going to be no piece of cake by any stretch of the imagination.
Colin Brown sat on the pole here a year ago for the Camping World Truck Series event.
So he should know where the preferred line is around here, shouldn't he, Hermie?
That's right.
I mean, you could compare the line no matter whether you're in a Cup car or a Nationwide or driving in a Camping World truck, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's same principles apply. You get it wound up and then get right to the bottom. And He had a pretty decent first lap.
Yep.
Not quite what his 2 teammates had at first lap, I don't think.
No, but that's good enough if he picks up like everybody else has done to get him up in the side of the top 10.
Yeah, anything inside the top 15 for him, I think, is
Again,
is going to be
the
good.
green line, if you're to this side of it, that's what matters. If you can get to that side right there, you can get yourself locked into this race. And that's what all these guys, the remaining cars that are not locked in this field, are trying to do. And as the driver here, you really feel frustrated because you got it held wide open. You're trying to hit your marks. There's nothing else you can do.
That's it.
Colin Brown is indeed locked in. The 12th overall. Bumping has not started yet, but it will shortly. Stay with us here from Talladega. Now, what would Talladega be without trackside, Jeff Hammond?
He wouldn't even be here, man. What are you talking about? You got to have trackside at Talladega.
Got to. They go hand in hand.
Fastest track, fastest fans, greatest fans.
7:30 Eastern. Join Clint Boyer and the rest of us knuckleheads for Trackside Live.
You ain't saying it right.
Well, speaking of knuckleheads, Larry
you're
Mack,
not going to address me now, are you?
Look, no. Larry Mack walked in here a few minutes ago. We all have gray shirts. How come he has on a crimson red shirt?
Because you're in Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Young Parker Kligerman in the 42 car.
So where's Larry when you need him?
Yeah. He walked out.
Yep.
Nice job. Kligerman 9th overall.
Locks himself in.
Yes, he does. Those locked in: Stenhouse, Shelby Howard, Parker Kligerman, Brian Keselowski, Colin Brown, Bobby Gerhart, and Donnie Neuenberger.
And he's one of the guys, remember we were talking to him earlier, who pretty much called his shot, that they put everything they could into this qualifying effort. They looked like they were going to have a successful outing. He backed it right up.
9 wins in the ARCA Series 1 year ago for Parker Kligerman. Jeremy Clements in the 04. He's from Spartanburg, South Carolina. 26 years old.
Hermie, does you, let's just say, for example, if you were running a series, or Joey Logano or Clint Boyer, and you qualify back, outside the top 10, and you look up there and you see a lot of guys that you don't normally have up there in front of you, like a Parker Kligerman or a Shelby Howard, you kind of like, okay, surprise qualifiers. Does that make your job a little more difficult, or you have to kind of be a little more careful picking your way through, trying to get up through those guys? I mean, is it okay at the start of the race? What does that do for you?
It absolutely makes it more tense for you. If you are an experienced driver and you're starting behind or around a lot of drivers that you're not familiar with, it has nothing to do with them not being a good driver or whatever. It's that
trust.
You have programmed in your mind how somebody else races or what move they're liable to make. And you're right, Steve Burns, the trust. But they also understand that these guys, the way to get that experience is they got to race a little bit, but you certainly have to think about things just a second before you do it.
Jeff Clements way up alongside that wall trying to get those RPMs
He
up.
is trying to get this thing wound up. I mean, that's what he's looking to try to do on this first lap, to get every ounce of speed out of this 04 car, because he knows if he doesn't go on the second lap, he's going to go home. And after Jerry Clements will start the go or go home process. He will be the 43rd car to qualify. There's only enough room for 43 cars, so the remaining 48, 5 of them are going to have to load up here in a second and make that long trek back to their home base.
He's going to be right on the nose. Looks like right now, Jeff, at 53.31 first lap. If he picks up like, right, most of the other guys are picking up, it's going to put him right in or right outside that bubble as far as getting in.
Well, I'm just kind of worried about the fact since he's turned off and that tracker jumped over the 25 mark or 26 mark, he started backsliding.
Yeah, especially down the back straightaway where a lot of cars have been gaining speed. He didn't seem to carry that speed down the back stretch, so coming off turn 4 may really hurt him.
Following Clements, it's Chrissy Wallace, Dennis Setzer, Kevin LePage, Mark Green, and John Borneman III.
Yeah, he continues to lose speed back here to the start-finish line. And that's not what you want to see when you want to go racing on Saturday.
Doesn't pick up much at all. 52-52 on his second lap. 35th overall.
He's going to need some help. But the good news for the 89 car, Morgan Shepherd, though, locks him in. Puts Jeremy Clements in harm's way.
Larry Mack's very busy back there. What are you doing, Larry Mack?
I think he's hungry. He's hungry, yeah.
Food.
Take a look at Kevin Harvick's car.
I know what
Currently
it is.
our pole sitter.
He's nervous. He's got a son.
Nervous dad.
Yep.
Nervous
Gonna
dad.
race this afternoon.
Larry Mack, you nervous about that ARCA race? A little bit, he says.
A little bit. There's somebody else that may be a little bit nervous, but this time Mike Wallace has at least raced with his daughter one time before, and Chrissy did a pretty good showing the last time out. She wound up finishing 13th in the race.
Chrissy's 21 years old.
Yeah, I talked to the crew chief on this car a little earlier today, Curtis Davis. And this right here is a car that they purchased from Richard Childers Racing, RCR, and they did a little bit of work on it, and they've been pretty fast in it. He said he's been pretty happy with the car. He looks for great things out of Chrissy during his qualifying effort.
Chrissy finished 13th here at Talladega in a Camping World Truck Series race a year ago. Also had a top 10 finish in an ARCA race here. Finished 9th, 2008.
And the telltale sign, once again, just like we saw before when we were watching Jeremy Clements in that 04 car, is that when she turns down to start her second lap of qualifying, is what kind of speed this car picks up and whether she can maintain it.
White flag for Chrissy Wallace. First lap, 52.765, 181.484 miles per hour, 40th overall.
Good first lap, though.
But look at that. Look at the tracker, guys. Look where it made the jump going down the back straightaway. She's currently in a top 10 qualifying position for Chrissy Wallace in that 0 car. That's what you want to be looking for, folks. She can maintain that down through into turn 3. She should have enough speed to get this car into the race for tomorrow.
Down around the yellow line.
Like she ran up maybe just a hair up in the center of the corner, lost a little bit of speed. Let's see what she does coming back to start finish line. Don't slide back anymore, girl. Hang in there.
Looks like she'll be safely in.
Right, nice job.
She is 18th overall. Unfortunately, that bumps Derek Cope from the Aaron's 312 field. Final 4 drivers coming up here on Speed. Knockout qualifying continues here for the NASCAR Nationwide Series teams. Derek Cope has been bumped from the field as we watch 50-year-old Dennis Setzer in the 92 car.
His first lap not good enough to get him in the race, but let's see what he's doing here on the second. He's on the right side of that green line. Once again, we'll keep watching these folks right there. That's what you're trying to beat.
Dennis will be followed by Kevin LePage, Mark Green, and John Borneman III.
So watching coming off turn 4. This is where we've seen the wind affect some of these cars and start fading back, but he's holding his own, Jeff.
He is. Again, another Keselowski entry. His teammate Brian right there wound up being 10th quickest in the number 26 car. So see what he winds up here. That'll be enough to get him in, Steve. 21st quickest.
Yep, and that does bump Josh Wise in the 61 from the field. So Setzer locks himself in. 3 cars remaining. Kevin Harvick, the pole sitter, at 187.375 miles per hour, 51.106 his time. See Tony Stewart getting ready. Sprint Cup practice coming up following NASCAR Nationwide Series practice.
Inside Kyle Busch.
Denny Hamlin, he's on a roll, coming off the win at Texas, gingerly climbing into his FedEx Toyota.
Would have finished that race last week.
That was unbelievable. Denny Hamlin told me last week during the rain delay, Hermie, that his knee hurts so badly that he has to get up in the middle of the night, ice it, just so he can try to go back to sleep. Gutsy performance.
It really was. Showed a lot of heart last week. A lot of heart. Take a look here at Mark Green, veteran campaigner. Owensboro, Kentucky.
Good to see, speaking of Greens, good to see Jeff Green here.
Hey guys, right quick, you know, we're always talking about accomplishments of individuals. I was talking to one of the Goodyear tire engineers earlier today, Rick Heinrich, and he wasn't at Texas last week, and I was asking about some tire situations from Texas. He said, I hate to tell you this, Jeff, he said, I really wasn't in the Texas race last week. I was in the mall race. I said, really? What were you doing? He ran the Boston Marathon, and I got a quick lesson and education on what it takes to get in there. You know, you just don't walk up, sign your name on the list, and take off running. There's 25,000 entries. He finished somewhere like around 7,000. But the impressive thing was a smile on his face. He was so excited about that accomplishment, and I never really gave it much consideration, but that is a pretty neat little thing to kind of put in your resume that you ran in the Boston Marathon.
That's quite an accomplishment. By the way, want to mention Kevin LePage in the 56 is on the 5-minute clock. LePage was supposed to go out. 49 of Mark Green on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, Mark needs to try to find some speed somewhere on this second lap. Looks like he's a little bit of trouble, but he's gaining a little bit of speed on the back straightaway, but he needs to pick it up quite a bit to like that car in the show.
He's doing what you want it to do, but it's not just doing it quick enough. He's gaining toward that green line, which is the magic line, but he's going to need some more. There he goes. He's right there on it. What's going to happen here, Hermie? Can he pick up enough? Can he pick up enough? Oh, he slid back out a little bit.
Oh, I hate to look at the scoring monitor. Well, he picked up maybe just enough.
He gave himself a shot, guys. He gave himself a shot.
Jason Keller can breathe a sigh of relief that he's now locked in a 35 car.
Jason is locked in, but Jeremy Clements is locked out. Dale Earnhardt Jr. heading to his race car.
Clean shaven Dale Jr.
I'll
this week.
say. The beard is gone.
Looking for aerodynamics when we come to Talladega.
Right.
Can't have any drag.
The other part of it too is starting to get hot too. That beard may not feel that good inside that car, as hot as it's getting ready to become. Like Mike Ford and Denny Hamlin.
Yep.
Last minute instructions.
Practice is wild here.
That's right.
It's just wild. Jimmy Johnson got 1 foot in the pool.
Water might be a little bit cold, or maybe too hot.
The water.
Maybe it's too hot in this case.
And why is he smiling? What's he so happy
Because he's got
about?
a huge points lead. John Borneman the third.
We saw those drivers smiling and getting ready for their eagerly anticipated practice session, but now for Johnny Borneman, but he's got a pretty serious look on his face.
Hey, Hermie, what do you think about Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson trading paint last week?
I thought it was awesome.
I did too.
You know, when you get teammates like that, when they don't mind mixing it up, I think it's a statement that Jeff Gordon, he's one of the few guys, you know, that he's got the same stuff that Jimmy's got, and when he's got a chance to race with him, he needs to, you know, show that he wants to try to win those races. And Jeff is as hungry this year as I've seen him in several years. He wants to get back to victory lane consistently.
Jeff and I were talking on Race Hub last week, or this past week, about the comment Chad Knaus made. I'd rather have 2 stallions than 2 old mares.
Yep.
That's right.
To me, I don't know what the big deal was about it, really.
They were just racing.
They're just racing because they're teammates, and Jeff owns the other car. And I'll take that out of the equation. They're just racing.
You're 2 competitors. It's like 2 brothers. I don't care if it is my brother. I'm gonna run over if he's in my way.
Yep.
I want to win, but maybe worse than he does.
And Jimmy's going to see more of that as we move forward, because on the few occasions that people have shown the ability to go race with him, they need to rough him up a little bit. They need to try to put pressure on him.
Well, I think that respect and that ability to race hard goes both ways. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Is he is the champion. I think everybody respects him for that. But at the same time, you know, he ties his shoes the same way.
Both ways. It's up to Jeff Gordon and these other guys to put pressure on him, and it's up to Jimmy Johnson to protect his ground. He's got to stay in his ground too. So I think it could shape up to be, you know, form some really good racing as we move down the line here.
Johnny Borneman III just completed his 2nd lap.
What do you think, Larry Mack? Thumbs up.
Wow, John Boardman the third in the 83 locks himself in. That bumps Willie Allen from the field.
A 3.24 to a 3.27.
So that's what, 3
1,000ths of a second.
He gets locked in over Mark Green.
It's like Kevin Harvick might be getting ready to accept an award.
One more car to go.
Would be Kevin's 20th Nationwide Series pole. Greg Biffle finishes up the autographs, and Sprint Cup practices coming your way, coming up here in just a few minutes on Speed.
We're not in Texas anymore, but here comes the shootout, guys. It's between Mark Green and Kevin LePage, who will wind up racing tomorrow.
Anxious moments indeed for LePage and Mark Green. LePage from Shelburne, Vermont, the final driver to qualify.
Just watching the crawl above you see the Logano and Bobby Gerhardt listed there. If you notice, as we come down through here, you're going to see the name C. Wallace in the 0 car, and that means Chrissy Wallace. And right now, she's currently 18th quickest. And guys, looking at the leaderboard, she's the fastest of all the Wallaces. That includes Daddy Mike, her cousin, I think, Stephen, and her uncle Kenny. She is, as they say, giving them all a good schooling.
That's impressive.
Or an Alabama, what I call an Alabama butt whooping. Larry Mack likes that. Tell you what, guys, his first lap is a great indicator that maybe Kevin LePage can make something happen here. See what he does going off turn 2 down the back straightaway.
First lap, 52.98.
Come on, Kevin. It shows you can be better than that. Slowly inching his way toward where he needs to be. Going to pick up about 0.6 of a second.
Don't think it's going to be quite enough, Jeff.
Trying to find some speed right here. Here to the start-finish line is where it's going to have to happen.
Start-finish line. Let's see who. Oh, no. Kevin LePage does not make it. Mark Green does. Let's go to Wendy.
2 wins for Kevin Harvick this season in Nationwide, but the first pole of 2010. How good does this feel?
I'm just excited for all of our guys on the Ream Chevrolet. They put a lot of effort into our Speedway program, and it always has paid off over the past couple of years. So excited for them. I just got to be the lucky guy to ride in it.
All right, 20th career pole here in Nationwide. Steve?
Yep, indeed. 20th career pole for Kevin Harvick alongside Carl Edwards.
How about that second row right there? We got a couple of rookies right there in row 2, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Steve Arpin. I mean, a great effort right there by both those individuals.
A couple of Dodgers in row 5, Parker Klickerman, Brian Keselowski.
Talking about it earlier, row 9. Take a look right there. You saw Chrissy Wallace.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series practice is next here on Speed. Glad you're along for the ride for NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying. Kevin Harvick on the pole. Those are your drivers who did not make the show.